Hi, this is Eddie Hearn, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Faisal Khan for Lights Out, and with me, delighted to be joined by Hannah Rankin. Hannah, good evening to you. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thanks, and thanks for having me on. It's great to catch up.
It's pleasure's all ours. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. It's the first time we've got you on Lights Out, so yeah, let's get cracking. Just want to start off by talking about the current, well, the ever long-lasting pandemic situation. Lockdown Part 3. How are you finding it?
I mean, I'm finding it okay. It did mean that I had to leave Scotland a lot earlier than I anticipated over the Christmas holidays, just because obviously Nicola Sturgeon decided to put Scotland into lockdown a little bit earlier than we did down here. So I made a quick getaway and came back to London so I had access to all my training. Because I didn't want to get sort of stuck up in Scotland, especially when I'm working towards a fight in March. So yeah, no, it was a good decision for me, but I'm lucky that I'm able to train as a professional athlete. I just feel really bad for all these people who haven't got access to places to train, and it's not as easy. You can't just take your kids out and about. So yeah, I feel very lucky.
Obviously, as you mentioned, you're working towards a fight date in March, so I take it you're definitely keeping in shape on a daily basis. Are the gyms currently open to professional fighters, or are you having to take some sort of different route in terms of keeping in shape and getting ready for that fight date in March?
Yeah, so professional boxing gyms, they're open for their professional fighters, obviously. So my training down here in London's not upset by that, but obviously certain things like being able to see my physio is not easy, or I do a lot of training at an altitude chamber but in London, but unfortunately I don't have access to that building at the moment, so they're going to send me out some kit that I can set up in my own gym, which is amazing. But it does mean you just have to find ways around getting all of that training in. And I haven't got access to all of the sort of stuff for my strength and conditioning either, which I would normally do in a normal gym. So yeah, it's just being a little bit resourceful and finding ways around it to make sure I get all the things I need to do into training.
Very good. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're keeping in shape, and I'm also glad to hear that there's a potential fight date coming up in March. Has there been a potential opponent announced? Looking at the names in the division, there's obviously Emma Kozin, Lanny Daniels, Tori Nelson, and there's obviously that rematch with Savannah Marshalls, and maybe even another crack at Claressa Shields you might fancy. What can you tell us?
Well, so I'm definitely not going to be competing in that weight division anymore. I'm naturally a 154 fighter, so I normally compete at super welterweight anyway, but I'm making my welterweight debut in March. So I'm dropping right down to 147 pounds. I'm really looking forward to it. It's exciting, and it opens up a whole new division of fighters, and it's somewhere where I've been wanting to go for a while. So now is an opportunity, and yeah, I'm going to grab it with both hands.
Excellent. Well, it's good to hear that you're going into a new division all the way down to 147, fast pace action. So we're looking forward to, seeing the new steps in your career. I just want to rewind back to obviously October 31st, the fight with Savannah Marshall. Come up quite short in the fight. Looking back at the fight overall, what's your honest assessment of your performance?
So I was really happy with the beginning of the fight. I felt like I won the first 2-3 rounds. At the end of the third round, unfortunately, I was upset by an injury, actually, which afterwards I found out I'd perforated my eardrum and a fracture to my jaw. So I felt like the fight was very much in two halves. I started off really well and I was pleased with how it went, but then obviously the injury upset my balance and I wasn't able to perform to the best of my capabilities. So I find that very frustrating, but it is what it is. It's fighting. You do get injured in fights and things happen. So first time dealing with that. So yeah, no, I'm obviously gutted I didn't get the win, and it was a fight for the WBO world title. So yeah, obviously that was really, gutting at the time. But now looking back on it, I'm pleased that I'm fit and well now. I've recovered from my injuries and I'm able to go again and in this new year. So I'm looking positively towards this year.
You showed an incredible ton of heart in that fight against Savannah Marshall. You managed to get back up in the seventh round, but the referee waved it off at the time. Did you agree with the referee's decision, or would you have liked the referee to have let you carry on?
Well, I was actually quite close to my corner at the time, and my corner had said to take a knee because I wasn't quite on the right balance, and they were like, "Take the knee; it's for your own sort of safety, sort of thing." And I would have liked it to have been my corner's decision at that point. Give me there was 10 seconds or something left in the round, so I would have liked him to let me finish up and then get back to the corner, and I think that's what would have happened. But I think my corner would have said after that, your balance isn't there, and we're going to stop it, sort of thing. So I'm not angry with the referee's decision. It's his job there to protect the fighters. So I've got nothing against him whatsoever. And he did what he thought was best. So no complaints there.
I appreciate the honesty behind that, and it's a really good fight. And as you mentioned, the injuries definitely changed the landscape of the fight. Now you're moving down to 147. How much of a building process is it for yourself to get back into the world title shot frame?
So at 147, obviously all of the titles at world level are held by Jessica McCaskill just now, and obviously she's tied up with a rematch with Cecilia Brackhouse. And then depending on how that goes, I can foresee a third fight, obviously, so they can get that going. So for me, it's just going to be, I've got to trial myself out how I feel at welterweight. That's why I'm starting out in March. I'm aiming to have about 2 to 3 fights this year at welterweight, see where I'm at. I want to pick up a title by the end of the year, maybe European, Commonwealth or something like that. And then I'll be looking towards going for a world title the following year. That's my kind of goals and where I want to be going.
Katie Taylor's a fighter who is not shy in saying that she's willing to work her way up in the weights. I believe she's still down at lightweight. She could be moving up to super lightweight, hopefully in the next few months. Is that something you'd be interested in, perhaps maybe towards the back end of this year? Because she's growing massively, you're growing massively. 2 British fighters, women boxing is growing bigger and bigger as the sport goes on. Can we expect to see that at some stage?
To be honest, like if someone had said that to me at any point recently, I would have gone, "That's crazy," because we're nowhere near each other in weights at all. But obviously, Katie, she wants to move up to super light and potentially go up to a catch weight with Cecilia Brackhouse. I know that's a fight that's been talked about as the 2 greats, having a fight together. But you never know with boxing. You never know what's going to happen. And Katie smashed through so many barriers in the sport. It wouldn't surprise me if somehow that fight did happen at me at welterweight and her coming up to welterweight. It'd be a crazy fight and a crazy thing to happen. But boxing is really much like that. You can never plan anything. Everything changes all the time. So I really wouldn't be surprised, but it's not something that I'm looking at right now.
It's one of the most unpredictable sports in
the
world. I think we're both fair to say that it definitely is a sport that you just never know what's going to happen. Last few interviews, I've been asking fighters for their predictions for the fight that everybody wants to see: Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Listen to Eddie Hearn's interviews. Talks are progressing well. Fingers crossed the fight does happen this year. I want to ask now a female boxer's prediction. What do you think will happen if that fight does happen? Because that for me is huge. That's just for me the biggest fight in definitely my lifetime that I've seen. What's your predictions for Fury versus Joshua? Fingers crossed it happens this year.
I know. I would love to see that fight. I think it's a really exciting fight, and I think pretty much everybody in the boxing world wants to watch that fight. So I really do hope it happens. I'm a big Anthony Joshua fan. I think it's going to probably be one of his toughest tests, stepping in there with Tyson Fury. I see it going late. I feel that Anthony Joshua will be behind on the scorecards as we go into the second half of the fight, but I predict he's going to get a knockout in the second half of the fight. That's what I would think. But I'm a big Anthony Joshua fan, so I would have to say he's going to get a knockout late in the fight for me.
You're not the only one to predict that. A lot of people that I've interviewed have said either Tyson Fury wins via points or a late stoppage for Anthony Joshua. There's just so many. I mean, obviously everyone's got their own opinion, but it's just such a interesting, intriguing fight that there's so many possible endings to that fight, and it is really, really a fight that we do hope that happens this year. Do you honestly see that fight happening this year? Do you think we'll get to see that fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua?
Personally, I really don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it might be 2022, to be honest. There's so many other things going on, and obviously, I don't know what's going to be happening. I think with like Usyk and all of that sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't think it'll happen in 2021. It takes a big show for an AJ and a Tyson Fury as well. We've also got to sort out the differences between the various coverage as well, because obviously there's Sky Sports, and then there'll be like Top Rank and all that different things. So it just depends who's going to show it, how they're going to show it, where it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of chat about that, and they're going to want to do it with normal crowds again. So I feel like it's going to be when we're able to get back to full normality with the shows, and I think, to be honest, we'll be starting to have things happening around September time, in my opinion. But for a big show like that, if it's not at the end of 2021, like December time, I think we'll be into 2022.
We've waited many, many years for it. I don't think boxing fans would be too disappointed if we have to wait another year, especially with what.
No.
And if it means it can come to Wembley with a full crowd, then I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree that they'd be happy to wait for it. Hannah, is there anything else you would like to add before we bring the interview to an end?
I know. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always great to talk to new people, and I haven't had a chat to you guys before, so it was great. And yeah, no, I'm really excited about this year, and I want people to watch out for me in the welterweight division. It's going to be an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to progressing my way up the ranks with that. And yeah, and massive thank you to all of my supporters and fans, and all my sponsors as well, who've stuck by me through this pandemic. It's been a difficult time, and everyone's stuck with me and supported me. So massive thank you to all of them.
Well, it's our pleasure finally getting you on here, Hannah, and hopefully it's the first interview of many. And we wish you the best of luck for that fight date in March, and we'll be keeping a close eye out on your social media pages, and be keeping an eye out for your next fight, and we'll look forward to speaking to you hopefully during fight week.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And yeah, just stay in touch.
Will do. Likewise. Thank you very much, Hannah, for talking to Lights Out.
No problem.